घरों से निकाल दिया जाता है उनकी गवर्नमेंट के द्वारा कुछ नए बनाए हुए कानूनों का प्रयोग करके या कुछ थोड़े टाइम पहले बनाए हुए कानूनों का प्रयोग करके इसके ऊपर और एक है मदर्स इनिशिएटिव बात करेंगे कि जो लेडीज को अरेस्ट होता है इनोसेंट लेडीज का उसके बारे में और मिस्टर रामदास जी की जो है चीजें वो बात करेंगे उनकी मंडे को जो उनकी आगे बोलेंगे रिकवरी लॉ के बारे में उसके बारे में बात करेंगे। तो कोई केस स्टडी में जो कि विक्टिम्स हैं जो पूरे लोग हैं अपने घर से निकाले थे वो और फिर हम बात करेंगे कि उन कानूनों में क्या गलतियाँ हैं उनकी क्या बारीकियाँ हैं उसके बारे में डिटेल से बात करेंगे। डॉक्टर मुखमा जी बता रहे हैं।
Good evening and breakfast. Mothers and Sisters Initiative हमारा एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, बेसिकली ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बाय women for women, and इस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से हम यही करना we want to voice the concerns of all the countless mothers and sisters who have been falsely implicated under 498A of the IPC, or there is a gross violation of their basic human rights when these women are falsely implicated and arrested under this section of the IPC. So basically, as of now, we term these women as the forgotten women, for the simple reason that these women have been forsaken by all. They have been forsaken by the judiciary, they have been forsaken by the government, they have been forsaken by the law enforcement agencies, and basically also, last but not least, forsaken by those very organizations that claim to be working for women's rights and women's empowerment. So basically, I'm going to begin with injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And that's very true. And therefore, we are here now trying to raise our voice against the injustice that is meted out to a lot of people in general, but specifically, I'm going to be dealing with the injustice meted out to women. Next slide. Okay, now section 498 of the IPC. I'm not going to go into any details. I'm only going to dwell with false arrest. But just very quickly, why was section 498 of the IPC of dowry, death and cruelty by affording protection to married Indian women against cruelty? It's cognizable, that is, you can be arrested and jailed without a warrant. It's non-compoundable, that is, the complainant cannot withdraw the complaint, and non-payable. So, acquiring bail is not your right. You have to appear in front of a judge and ask or request for bail. Next slide. Alright, now what has 498 of the IPC done now? A lot of women with malicious intent for threatening their in-laws and husbands, for extorting money, for wreaking vengeance on husbands and their families, and thereby perpetrating atrocities on innocent citizens and their families. And it's not me, India, which is the highest court in our country, except in the year 2005, in response to a writ petition filed by Sushil Kumar Sharma, acknowledged that there are many instances where women are filing false 498 cases. It also cautioned law enforcement agencies to take necessary precautions so that innocent citizens are not victimized. And it stated very clearly that any misuse of the provisions of this law amounts to legal terrorism. The World Health or Social Research, in a study on the implications of Section 498 of the IPC, states that out of 100 cases, only 2 are convicted. It also observed that educated and independent-minded women misuse this section of the IPC. The Law Commission, in its 154th report, the Mahimas Committee report, which was on reforms of criminal justice system in 2003, and the 111th report of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Home Affairs in regard to offences under Section 498 RPC have all acknowledged that Section 498A was being widely misused. Now, despite all these leading authorities which have repeatedly cautioned that 498A was a law that was more abused than used, it has been, now you have to understand that 498A IPC was promulgated in 1983. So it's been 24 years since this law has been in effect. And despite that, our government has absolutely no post-implementation feedback. If you ask them for what is the feedback of this law, has it actually helped in its intent and purpose, has it met it, the government has absolutely no reply. The menace of dowry also has not been curbed, and this has been widely acknowledged by sociologists and experts of various connected fields. And this really only means that this law has failed miserably in its purpose and intent. It has not achieved its objective. On the contrary, it has created limitless maladies. And why do I say it has created limited maladies? I'm going to show you now. Now, clearly, where there was something like under 498A of the IPC in 1995, there was something like 28,579 cases. This has more than doubled in the last 10 years. Then in 2005, there were 58,319 cases registered. Now, look at dowry death cases. In 1995, there were 4,648 cases. And that has now become 6,787 cases in the year 2005. So obviously, this law, with all its draconian provisions, such strict penalties, has really done nothing that it was meant to do. On the other hand, what has it actually managed to do? Let's go to that. Basically, the source is National Crime Records Bureau, and what we've done is we've studied, all the cases which were registered, persons who were arrested, subsequent disposal of the cases by the police, as well as the court, and it was analyzed for 3 years, 2003, 4, 2005. And this data is as per the data which is available to the Ministry of Home Affairs. Now, just look at the trend analysis that we've done towards the end of the statistics. And let me just try and explain, these are just statistics and these are just numbers. So let me just try and explain to you what exactly is happening here with IPC 498. Now, inference 1, I would ask you to please look at simple trend analysis number 1. The most shocking is 339 children were arrested falsely arrested under Section 498. Now, the ratio of persons who were falsely arrested, this we've calculated from the number of cases which were finally acquitted, based on the acquittal conviction ratio, and we found everyone goes to trial. Something like 11% actually compound their cases or out of court settlement. So you have to understand that there's a smaller number that finally goes to trial, but all of them were in prison. Now, of the people who go to trial, 80% of people who complete trial are found innocent by court. That is, there's absolutely no charges approved against them, but they have already gone through the trauma of imprisonment. There were people who are arrested every day. So now